Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Boxing. I'm your girl Leti.
I'm LB.
And let's talk about the recap.
Yeah, let's get it.
Let's talk about the recap that we had. Danny Garcia out of Philly. Versus Jose Benavidez Jr. out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Hey, out of the AZ.
Yeah, so let's start us off. What did you think about it? What was your recap like?
You know what? My guy let me down. My guy and, the stable that they let me down. I thought he was going to give us a better fight. But, kudos to Danny Garcia. He came in to do what he was supposed to do. He moved up to 154. He got the job done. One of the things that was kind of cool in the fight was to actually see Danny Garcia beat first. You can actually, if you watch his previous fights, he usually sits back and be more of a counter puncher. But, it looked like, and you can kind of tell that, he thought Jose Benavidez was actually going to come in and be more aggressive. But, he was actually just, sat and waited a lot. And, we got to see Danny be first. It looked like he was a little timid at first on being first. But then, once he got comfortable and sat in, he started moving a little bit. Mm-hmm. And that's more than we've seen him move, too, at 147. So, he did what he was supposed to do.
Danny Garcia got the win by split decision. Question mark.
Question
mark. I believe he should have got a unanimous decision.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really unsure of what that the judge saw giving it a draw.
That's it. Yeah, that's bad. I'm gonna say it like this: I was rooting for Benavidez, and I was after the fight. I wasn't even listening to the card, so I just knew it was a unanimous decision. I was like, majority decision. I was like, what?
Yes.
But yeah, that was just trash.
It's like when we heard the 14-14, we were
it's
like,
trash.
that's you can't. Yeah, that's not good. I was rooting for Benavidez as well. Even though I had Danny, I knew Danny was going to come in and win. Just because of his experience, and I don't even think that how he was off for about a year and a half. I don't think that did too much for him. Which I think that maybe David, look at him, getting confused.
There you go.
Let's
not get him confused. Let's not.
Jose Benavidez Jr. I think that he was trying, again, I don't know what the game plan was because, again, his dad was saying something, he was saying something completely different, so I don't know what game plan they went with. But he was not letting go of his hands like he should have.
Hey.
That was so frustrating, guys.
Hey, and if you were as frustrated as I know you felt just like us when every time Danny Garcia would land a shot, he just put his hands down and be like, that was so annoying. Yes. Just all he's doing was posturing. We I'm over here yelling, let your hands go, okay? If it's not hurting you, let your hands go.
Exactly. You over here making faces, okay, he's too little. You've been taking your brother's punches. Why aren't you getting in there, ruffling him up, and making him uncomfortable and bringing in the fight? Yeah. I really don't know. I think, I don't know. Was he trying to get Danny tired? And maybe his thought was he's been out of condition for a year and a half. He's going to get tired, and then I'm going to go for the knockout. I don't know. Yeah, and I was upset. I was upset because that family, I messed with that family hard, and to see him come out and not perform like I thought he should have.
And it was kind of ironic because before this fight, everyone, a lot of people talk about Danny Garcia and the fact that he didn't let his hands go, and Jose Benavidez, who was the one who actually didn't let his hands go. And here's kind of the crazy part that I just wasn't understanding. When he did actually let his hands go, he had some success. He had some success. Danny still was, countering well and caught him a couple times, coming in. But still, he should have let his hands go. And the fact when after the end of the fight, talking about he thought he won the fight, I was like, come on, bro.
I feel like you have to say that after the fight, but. Yeah, like you said, he was having some success. Yeah. Even Danny was like, damn, his hands did feel heavy. Yeah. So he should have let go of those hands more. His corner should have told him, you gotta let go of those hands more instead of just defense.
Yeah, I was waiting and I was waiting to see that dog come out. I mean, and he kind of talked about. He said, he thought Danny Garcia was running, but Danny Garcia was there and he was in position.
He was boxing.
He was boxing, but he was there. And Danny didn't start really using the ring until end of the fight. But Danny was right there with him majority of the fight. And he had plenty of opportunities to let his hands go and and to rough him up and to make it that fight if he wanted to, but he didn't let his hands go.
Yes.
So he was up on the he was on the wrong side. It takes the L.
Yeah, like you said. I mean, I think I had maybe 3 rounds, or so to Benavidez.
Yeah, maybe three.
Maybe 3, but. Yeah, he definitely, he was a bigger guy, and I think he should have definitely let go of those hands more. Danny was doing, I think, great, pivots. He was using his feet like he should.
Yeah, I was going to say.
How do you think Danny looked? Because I don't think he looked bad for being out for a year and a half.
It's kind of hard to see. I will say this: it was we did get to see Danny, use his feet a little bit more. We did see him jab a little bit and use a little bit more movement. He did look a little like he had a little bit, more energy than normal, and he wasn't as stationary as he usually is. Maybe credit that to the extra pounds that he was talking about. And he did. Like I said, it was cool to see him go first. Now, a lot of his punches, and that was from his jab, to his power punches. They really didn't have an effect on, much effect on Benavidez. And so, I kind of felt like, him moving to 154, he was going to have trouble just because of the size and things. And, I think that I still, don't know. I'm still not confident, in Danny at 154 yet. But yeah, I thought Danny came in and did what he was supposed to do. And, with him dealing with the things he's talking about, I thought it was a good performance for Danny.
Yeah, he did do a little tricks in there, though, trying to lean or kind of push Benavidez a little bit. It kind of looked like he was trying to get at that foot.
Yeah, he's like, come on, man. His leg is hurt. Don't put the weight on him.
So it looked like he was doing a little purposely,
I was like, come on,
kind of towards. Yeah. He started loosening it up, like more like on the 4th, 5th round, and he came in playing around a little bit more, and and that's when he started to give Benavidez really the work,
Yeah,
but it looked like they were talking shit back and forth to each other.
Yeah, and they were talking shit at the end, with you, But yeah, so Danny got the job done, and now it's on to the next one. So a couple names are being thrown out there. What's next? We saw Tony Harrison was there at the fight. He was very adamant on how he wanted the fight. But yeah, why don't you kind of get the matchups that you want to see? You know
what? I wouldn't be mad at watching Danny Garcia fight versus Castaño. I would not be mad at that. I think it would be a good fight for Castaño to come back from, the loss with Charlo. So I think that would be a great matchup for both of them, Okay. Similar kind of size. Castaño might be shorter than Danny, because Castaño's not.
He might be shorter, but I think he's definitely wider. But I think that would be a good fight too. A lot of the, we saw the pressure from Benavidez. I will say this: that pressure from Castaño is going to be night and day.
Because he's going to let go.
And he's going to let his hands go, and the pressure is better. He's not going to be taking as many shots coming in. Benavidez was taking some shots coming in. He did a Danny good job of countering. But I do like that matchup. Both are on the PBC. The size, like you kind of said, the size, would be interesting. And on top of that, the other fight is the Tony Harrison fight. I think that's a good fight for him. For both sides. It's Tony Harrison was a previous champion, and he's talked about the Charlo fight. Why not fight Harrison first, the one who beat Charlo? Harrison isn't known to have a lot of power, so that might help Danny as well. Get coming in. So, but I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say. Who I think is gonna win that fight. We'll just have to wait and see. Yeah. But I think that would be a good matchup.
That would be good. Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing that either. Tony Harrison's a great ass boxer.
And on top of that, Tony Harrison right now is ranked number 1 in the WBC. So, if he go ahead and he does, beat Tony Harrison, that would put him right in line as a mandatory for Jermell Charlo.
And which is what, of course, Danny wants. He wants
exactly. He wants to get another title. He's been adamant. He wants to get another title.
Yeah.
So that's the road right there.
Let's just see who's going to choose, because he was Tony Harrison. He's accomplished. He's been a world champion. His name is not as big.
Yeah. And Detroit Philly matchup. I think the press conference. If you haven't seen Tony Harrison, the press conferences are always must see.
Yes.
He's a character. I think it would be, and I think it would be good. I'm pretty sure.
Danny Garcia is character as well.
Yeah, and him and I already know him and Angel going to be talking mess back and forth. That would be must see right there.
Yes.
But the other thing I want to kind of talk about is they called out Keith Thurman and talked about I got something I got to say about this. Because, at the 147, I think Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia, I think they're a little slick.
Who?
Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman. I think they slick just for the simple fact of, you know, they were at 147 and they made, you know, they pretty much made it clear like, oh, you know what, you know, they don't want to fight the young hungry lions. Like there were some matchups at 147 I wanted to see them in there. I wanted to see them there with Jerron Ennis. I wanted to see them in there with Virgil Ortiz. I wanted to see them in there with Stanionis. And you know, they made it clear like, you know what, we don't want those fights. You know, because, oh, we're moving up to 154, you know, we're not going to do 147 anymore. But then they're going to fight each other in a 154 division. They're two 147s. If you're going to move up to 154, fight a 154 pounder. You know, I don't want to see the Danny Garcia Keith Thurman rematch. I think when that fight originally happened, that was the best time that for it to happen. I don't want to see this at this point in their career. You know, if they're moving up to 154, like Tony Harrison said, fight a real 154 pounder. I'm cool with, you know, Danny Garcia, you know, in that first fight, the first fight at 154, you know, he's fighting someone who was also at 147, you know, at the same time, around that time, which was Jose Benavidez. But do I want to see the rematch at 154? No, I'm ready to see them in there with the rest of them.
But I think they're thinking like business-wise, you know, like less risk, high reward type of deal, like with money-wise. That would catch probably more attention.
Yeah, I'm talking about, you know, I'm just talking coming from the fan perspective. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So from the fan perspective, you know, I understand that's what they would like. I'm saying from a fan perspective, I don't want to see that rematch again. I want to see them in there with some new blood. You move to 154, you know, fight a real 154 pounder. If you're not ready for Jermell Charlo yet, still fight a real 154 pounder to get you ready. Not another 147 pounder. And, you know, they're both at the point in their career where, you know, you could probably, you know, see, are they still as hungry as they were before? You know, Keith Thurman and Danny. Right. You know, I think that fight happened at the right time before. And, you know, I'm not interested in that. But, you know, that's just kind of how I feel about that. You know, I'd rather see them fight them, you know, those other guys.
Okay, so, well, let us know what you guys think down below.
Definitely. But that's all we got. So thanks for tuning in, y'all.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Or talk your shit. And we out.